Where's the chat? Hi everyone. Hi. Hi. Good evening for the Netherlands. This is me, Elizabeth Wallace. Greetings to everyone. I am still missing a start tune music, but I don't dare to because of the copyright strike, possibly. Welcome everyone. This is English spoken, and I tried again to do the lighting in the right way, and let me see if I can fix it. Welcome everyone. Hello. Yeah, I'm trying to fix the lighting. It's too big. It's too much. One moment. Oh boy. Hello everyone. Nice. It's so great to go live after there were a few weeks in between, but I was so looking forward to it, so I will move a bit because otherwise I'm in the chat. So how is everyone doing? From where are you? Welcome everyone. Before I start my talk, as you can call my podcast, my letting you know about how I'm doing and my views, and I have lots to talk about. And but I wait a bit until more people arrive in the chat. And welcome everyone. And I really have to get into it again. I noticed that also when I went live yesterday. So, but I do love it. So, and that's of course the most important thing. And I think I also radiate that I enjoy life, going live. And it was a bumpy start again. That's, hey Thea, welcome. Hoi. Well, it was a bit a bumpy start of this live stream because I was preparing a whole list of what I wanted to talk about, and already for last week I was already innerly thinking about, I'm going to talk about this, and I had so many insights also last month when I was at the cat and dog sitting place, actually almost 2 months. I was in the Netherlands in the most beautiful places, one in a forest in the center of the Netherlands, and also somewhere near the water, a bit more up in the Netherlands. And that was amazing. And it was also lonely. I have to admit, I'm still not out of the giant loneliness. But yeah, that's what I accepted, and that I fully trust in what for me is God, or that creator, who that I know that my time will come. And I also was quiet in that. So just accepting that, I think that's what I had to learn. Just accept the silence, and that it will come on the right moment, on the momentum, as I said. And that is related to the many insights and growth, inner growth. I recalled from also, of course, my MKultra past, but now as a here and now personality in the here and now, and from the quantum rediscoveries I had also specifically last year. So, hi Alice, goedenavond. Dankjewel Alice voor iedereen groeten. I said in Dutch to Alice, she greeted also everyone in the chat and who's watching, so that's so sweet. So I translated it, Alice. Welcome everyone. Yeah, I'm sitting on a well-known spot for the majority of you all who follow me even from the beginning. I really hoped I could do it from another place, from own studio, own place. But that's also what I really bumped into since I was home again since Monday, from that almost 2 months being gone and being in other residences, but I was in my own space and I had my own place, and then coming back home and back in the bedroom and then I always have to cry, but I shouldn't do that, you know. I really feel there is a meaning to it, that I'm still back here in this house with beautiful people who I love dearly. So it's not that, it's the so craving for my own place, and that's the hardest thing I noticed. But also to accept it and to just continue my journey. And so I will get over it, but I'm a bit overwhelmed by that. I get emotional because it's so deep, the longing to my own place, and I worked hard for that innerly. And I didn't want to get emotional. But yeah, that's life. That's me in a live stream. I'm real, I'm raw, and how I feel. So, but welcome everyone. Thanks for joining me. Before I forget, I have my Dutch channel fully for the Dutch people who only prefer Dutch live streams. I want to do a tryout. But I will also, when I go live in fully Dutch, I will also upload it to my main channel. But yeah, it's just an experiment to find out if that works better, that I feel less stressed to give attention to my Dutch friends, Belgium of course, and also from the Netherlands, Antillen, everywhere where Dutch is being spoken. Because I love the Netherlands. I'm my whole front life, many of you know who I mean. I was, of course, used and abused everywhere in the world, and brought up also in Britain by my mummy, and also in the US by my basic programmers. But my heart is also in Amsterdam and the Netherlands and the whole Netherlands, you know, and that is also part of my talk from this evening, to explain a bit, of course, always from the perspective of my own inner growth, from how I see and view the world, the changes I had innerly also in these last couple of months, and still processing and integrating from that I come from that heavy abuse and traumatized basic programming. But I can truly say that I met my core, and that was as well as exciting to find out, but also very deep, because I felt like when I hit my core, that was very special, because in the place where I was cat and dog sitting, I had actually 2 places which I loved in this year where they had a bath. And I'm used to do shower, etc. But my basic, I love going into bath. I love bathing. And besides, I mean, it's not to. I know border shortage and so on, but that's a whole story about climate change. Is that true or not? I mean. But besides that, Oh, on Nightbot there is something. What were you thinking? Stop posting links. I don't know who posted a link, but yeah, that's just better not. It is if you want to send a link, then mail it to me, and I honor everyone. Also, if other channels want to promote themselves here, but at the same time, it is it is better not, because I don't know, I cannot check the links, and many times I cannot open them, or I have no time to check them, and I have to also be aware of that there are stricter rules, because I'm also on Twitch. I think I'm also on Twitch. Hello, everyone on Twitch. Let me check there as well. Watch now. And well, I think you can hear me all very well, because otherwise I would also be notified, I'm sure. And I should be live as well on Rumble, but I'm not sure. So let me see. Am I live there? I don't know what I did wrong, but maybe someone can check if I'm live there. But am I live on YouTube? Let me check. It should be. Yes. All right. Okay. So yes. For everyone who now pops in, welcome everyone on this live stream on, for me, pretty late in the evening. And welcome everyone. And I was just saying that I was a bit overwhelmed, because I was talking about that I was this week back home again in the residence, a safe haven, and very... thank you so much, Alice. I'm very well... Okay, the audio is very well. Okay, because sometimes I rewatched of yesterday, and sometimes it appears as if I am in a bathroom, so it's very echoey. So, but I love to get the feedback, and I try to now set my audio a bit less sensitive. So another thing. So I was talking about that they had a bath on my cat and dog sitting places, which, oh man, I loved it. But the bath, taking a bath, triggered a lot of the basic programming of me when I was very little, in bathtubs, but also in coffins. I was put in all kinds of ways, in deep holes, in pits, of course in the Gizeh, in the pyramid of Gizeh, and there I was also in the... Alice says, yeah, yesterday there was an echo in it. Yeah, I changed it. Well, thank you so much, Alice. Thank you. You're awesome. And then I was also at Bohemian Grove when I was I already told that in one of my live streams in earlier years, but very short said, I was put, you have to then visualize me being a toddler, actually still a baby, and then in a child's position, so like, or a fetus position, and then my arms and legs were first pulled out of the joints, and then folded like a butterfly. That there origins the monarch butterfly programming of, by the way, in my case. And that I was fully wrapped in silk cloth, and then I was put in the owl's statue, which has a hollow space at Bohemian Grove, and there I was put in for many, many hours, I believe 24 hours at least, which was also in the Gizeh pyramid. And the bath triggered that, because I was then mostly afterwards, when I came out of that program, like that butterfly programming, with that bonded in these cloths, that I was put in a light and bright room, and often also that I had to bath or was put underneath a shower, but it was always a bath. And that bathtub was at the same time also used by abusers and the programmers to put me underwater, and also in sauna. So in the underground and in the deep state, many of these people love going to the sauna, and they had, of course, their private, in their houses and in their villas, also their own saunas and private areas, where I was also put underwater and had water tortures, as well as with my military programming, where also a lot of water tortures were done, also to make me stronger, which, at the other hand, I mean, it did help me through life and even through all that programming. I see that I'm still a bit more, too much in the chat. Wait, shall I do it a bit more? Shall I do it like this? Oh, wait, I shall do it like this. That's better. So, so that was what triggered there. And at the same time, I was so cleansed. I felt so cleansed by taking that bath and in the water, that it also recalled, initiations from within, and the presence of beings, and specifically the Arcturians and the Lemurians. I am now withhold a bit from talking, because I was preparing for this live stream, and I had a whole list of subjects which I was so incredible, enthusiastic to talk about. And then an hour before I was going live, because I was a bit resting and preparing innerly and take my relaxation and preparing innerly, and then I felt more and more a blockage. And next to the incredible, well, for me, it's tough to have been outside although it was alone physically in the cat and dog sitting places, and then being back in the house where I was with loving people. I mean, I couldn't have a better place where I was safe and am safe and feel safe. And at the same time, I bumped into being confronted with this is the place where I worked innerly on the process for at least, let me count. I have to count a bit from 2010. It's now 2026, so 16 years. And a beautiful place, beautiful environment, beautiful people here in the neighborhood. So, and then bumping into that confrontation with that here still, I felt my old me almost back again, wanting to jump up, and next to that I still am facing fears. So I have now my core. That's the joyful news, and I feel that already since last year. That I talked about that last year in October, that I was for a month in a total isolated place, in Bergen aan Zee, beautiful place, but I came across there. I was so deep that I didn't want to continue life any longer. That I fully rested on. Okay, dear God, I literally told God almost daily, like, come and get me, and. If this is enough what I did to deprogram and to heal, then I give up. I give everything in your arms and in your comfort, and come and get me if it's my time. But if it's not my time, because one thing is always very clear to me, I will never go myself. I will never take the hand on myself and then exit myself. That's a better word for it, because I have to be careful in the wording, because I'm on YouTube and on Twitch. So, and on Facebook I am live, but I don't know for how long, because I'm very mixed feelings about Facebook. I am so grateful for the many followers and friends requests. I try to follow you back and I try to respond, but it's just impossible. I have now 1,200 followers, which is amazing. I am so grateful, but I cannot deal with going through all of you, and then I go at times through all the requests, and then I pick some, and then I visit your website and so on and so on. But it takes time. Hello, Delvertje, welcome. Delvertje also greets you, everyone in the chat and who watches. Welcome, dear friends, that you stuck with me again on this Thursday evening. And I like it, by the way, because I do have pretty okay energy, and I love talking about also the process. And I was a bit overwhelmed in the beginning by the emotions of that I am live streaming again from this residence, in which actually live streaming is no longer possible. I mean, I take space. And I was to come back to that. I was confronted when I came back home here with parts of my old me, and now I'm working on saying goodbye to my old me. And when I was at these places where there was a giant bathtub, a really giant bedroom where I slept, it was amazing. It was an amazing environment. I really could live there. I didn't want to go to so beautiful cats, so I miss these cats too. And luckily I have a lot of requests already, even for 2027, for the same people who want me back. So, and also for Christmas. So that's awesome that people want to ask me back. And so I am a lot out of the house here, but I really wished I could do a live stream from another place. But yeah, let's continue, and I want to stay positive, you know. I should not be too negative, but it's just emotions, you know. And I when I live stream, I'm real, I'm raw. And because I realized that, because look, for me, these live streams are also very valuable, because no one else hears me about how I'm doing, or what I'm really doing, doing in my process. Because I meet a lot of people, so I mean on the street and when I walk outside, and also in the lovely place where I was, very dear people, but they don't know what I'm doing. They don't know that I'm former MKultra, that I was suffering from so many traumas, and the only one is that dear friend here, and very precious to me, because so many who were enslaved and former MKultras were alone, and totally alone. So I feel blessed. And Delvertje says, we had a farmers' protest just this evening. The police came and did send us away. One went violent. Oh my gosh, really? Yeah, that's so. Yeah, it continues, of course. It's I sadly enough did not follow any longer all these protests, but it's tough. And it has now been, and that was where in the Netherlands, Delvertje? Yeah, I can also look it up, of course, but I will check it later on. I usually don't like to drink when I do live stream, but I was thirsty. And I was in a hurry when I went live, so I forgot to drink more, so... And by the way, I have my teeth corrected, and I wear every night still the invisible braces, which I think it's an awesome solution, an alternative to otherwise having how do you say that, a fake teeth. I mean, I don't know the other teeth, or how about you say for that other word? Well, I don't know. I'm sorry. But that makes my mouth drier, so I need to drink more. Delveltje says Nieuwegein, viaduct. A2. All right. Well, people from abroad, yeah, it's still going on. It still continues. The farmers are also still, being forced to more and more rules, and that is sad. And it is about, there is a whole increasity in Europe. And I believe that many people abroad also know that by now. There's in Europe an incredible tension about the immigration, and also of recent in Spain that there are lots of people from Africa just ran into the Spain, and it was all a misunderstanding. I did investigate a bit about it, and it's a huge item and subject, and it's a subject which I hear more and more. So, and it's really tensed everywhere. And then not even talking about all the Earth's reactions in, of course, the earthquakes. And also my heart goes out to India, the border of India, Nepal and China, where that huge landslide was happening. And so, but my heart goes out to everyone who's being harmed or with disaster. And I did talk about it already in earlier live streams, and I tried years ago to warn for that the Earth would respond. That I talked about that in my timeline travels. And that was also the goal of the deep state, by the way, that it would head to turbulence worldwide, and the volcanoes. And I was at places in these time travels where I was just watching burnt, charred trees, and saw a river flowing, and that river was totally orange red, and the skies were orangey red, and it was macabre like you see in movies. And I witnessed that myself. Ariel, hello, welcome. Oh my goodness, hello dear, it's so good to see you, Miss Elizabeth. I'm so sad I cannot stay on here long. Just wanted to say hello, and we are praying for you as always. Sending love if that feels okay. Love. Receiving love is always awesome, and much love back, Ariel. And of course I understand, and you can always rewatch this live stream later on. So, but so nice of you to greet in the chat room and to see you here. So of course everyone has also their own schedule and things going on in life, so that's totally fine. And that's the advantage of that this live stream is being uploaded afterwards. So so there's a lot going on qua turbulence in the world and Europe. And next to that, I was in the timeline seeing all that misery. I saw also so many demonstrations and violence, and two kinds of people in opposite of each other. So in a huge giant demonstration, and meanwhile the earth was breaking. I saw a fold break in the earth. So I hope, because a lot of positivity also has been going on, and I truly feel that the most negative timeline that we're not longer on that, but I still am, because I see what I witnessed happen now, that volcanoes, and also it's proven, you can research about it, that even volcanoes who were asleep for a long time now are awakened, and that fault lines are responding. And I feel the landslide which happened to that border of India, of Nepal and China, that is also part of it. And of course the media says it's all about the climate change. And it is about that. There was also of recent this sun eclipse. And there is just an incredible change in the astrology and in the planets and in the sun. And the sun is not what they tell you what the sun is. And because they can tell you like the sun is hot, but something what appears to be hot, what looks hot, doesn't have to be hot for real, you know. You can see flames, and everyone can see flames, and I think like, oh, flames. That is just immediately, of course, a response in the brain, like flames, seeing flames, that's hot. That does not have to be always the case. But yeah, the sun is a portal, and I talked about that already earlier in another live stream. And to talk about my previous live streams, I discovered that on Odyssey, I have my Odyssey channel still up, and I updated it again of also last days when I was going through all my social media and update my profile photos and so on, and my as best I can to check where my old videos were of all my live streams. Because on Facebook, all my over 300 videos were stolen. My ID was stolen, and Facebook did not respond. So, and I think there was I truly feel that there was my former programmed world behind it to steal all these videos, and I still don't have them back. But they're still on Odyssey, I noticed, in a whole playlist. So. And I will put it in the chat. Then you can visit Odyssey. And let me see. Because I opened it specifically, so I could then. Okay. Let me see. Loading. Yes. Right. And there's only one disadvantage. It still has my old Dutch name Monique, and the Monique personality in me was the front personality, and I lived my Dutch life mainly as Monique. So she's awesome, you know, but she's integrated in me, and that name does not fit me any longer. But Odyssey, don't let me change it. So here it is. So. I apologize for that, it's all confusing, but yeah, that's life of being former MKultra, many personalities and name changes. And which I did very consciously, by the way, name changes in the outside life. But Ariel says, I'll definitely watch as soon as I can. Thank you so much, and see you next time, Ariel. So, to come back to also this week where I was confronted with my here back in the house, but specifically that, I think it's logic that I live in a place where I did all the deprogramming, went through all the flashbacks, the traumas. I did years of live streaming. I lived here years with the two beautiful cats, which I still miss. I still miss doing a live stream with a beautiful cat. And I miss them dearly. And I come now from a place where I was taking care of two cats. And I was awake last night because I was... now I get emotional again. I was searching for one of the two cats who was lying in that little cavity in between the knees, you know, bended knees, and there he was lying in the night, and that cat, and it is a very special cat, and I was last night really missing him on my bed, that I could feel him against my legs. But yeah, that's yeah, I'm a cat person, I think, and I will always miss a cat. So, but that being here and going live also created fears. And another example is that I came back from the cat sitting place, and that was Monday. Yeah, Monday. And that I had to take a bus, train, bus, and I also had to walk 20 minutes with just a tiny suitcase, because the other stuff and suitcases were then brought to me the next day, which is very, very awesome of these people who had me as their cat sitter. But it was total chaos when I was walking towards that bus stop. And when I was in the bus, then I realized, oh, I forgot my wallet. My wallet, did I lose it? Was it stolen? And I tried to remember, where did I have it last time? Oh yeah, there and there. And then I was totally panicked, and I felt light in my head, and I was not grounded at all. But this is an example of that. I always meet also some protection or an angel in the shape of just a sweet lady. I forgot her name because I told her my name, and I asked her name to honor her, because she helped me. And she saw me looking for that wallet, and then she said, "Oh, don't worry, and shall I help you? And if you want to ask something, just do that." And she was sitting in front of me in the bus, and the bus driver, he was a bit not so kind, I must say. He was so grumpy. I mean, it's a huge difference, when a bus driver is happy and nice and kind. And I always try to approach everyone with a smile. I literally walk with a smile, not with an over-exaggerated smile, but just friendly smile, because friendly approach makes a world for someone. And I have many examples of that people were so responding with kindness back, but very grateful and happy that I was so smiling, and kind and helping them as well. So also the other way, of course. But he was grumpy and said, "Yeah, I don't care. You can drive for free if you want. But yeah, if there is controle or police, because police in the Netherlands, they are standing there at bus stops, and then they enter the bus, and then they check your ticket," which I understand. I mean, I understand the control also because of the increasity of violence, and I hate it as well that people don't pay for their travel. And I was there standing with the bus driver, and I still see myself there in the bus walking towards the driver, like, yeah, I can give you my name, or yeah, is there a solution? And I was so in shambles, pure of the thought that I was driving in that bus without paying for it. And it was, in distance, it was for, at the max, maybe €1, almost €2 in total. So it was almost nothing to pay, but I didn't have it, because I didn't have my wallet. And then that sweet lady, I walked to her, and I was almost in tears, and I think she saw it. And I felt, oh, this is one example of that then fears, when some of a trauma appears in fears, like meeting myself in the world, of which I don't travel a lot in the bus. I mean, I have been isolated from the world for years already, and I'm just a very isolated person. I I don't meet a lot of people, although I am moving myself in people and in environments. But I hope you understand me. And I'm very social. I'm actually pretty amazed that I am social because I am so much alone and on my own when I go outside. So, but and then that sweet lady said, I will pay for you. And I said, okay, I don't want you to pay for me because I will give you my name. Here's my phone, and and then you can send me a tikkie. A tikkie is here in the Netherlands for that you can send with your bank account a small amount, and then that's a transfer way via an app on your phone. And I told her, I think 10 times the same story. Like, I want to pay. Give me your phone number and let exchange, and I will pay you back. And she said, no, I'm happy to do that for you. Is that heartwarming or not? And this is an angel, and I always come across these things. I always am being crossed by what I call an angel in situations like that. I have a protection. It's amazing. So it's nice to share that, by the way, that of recent. But at the same time, I was confronted with these fears, and that I knew, another core personality, because that's what I did last 2 months. And I did go live in the forest when I was in the first month. And that live stream is still up on my YouTube and my other channels. And then I was totally feeling that how still very small personalities in me, and then you have to think about 4 to 6, 7 years old personalities, were coming to the surface and suddenly, and they did not know me at all. And that also happened when I was driving in that bus. And then I was at that central station, somewhere in the north of Netherlands, so not even a big station. And I was there standing in front of the station, and it's an area there where I did not know really on which side the station was, because it was not clearly being mentioned. And I was really amazed by, that is what fears do. I was there already a couple of times, and I did not recognize the central hall and the entrance of the hall of that central station there. So I walked twice in the wrong direction, and I saw when I was out of that bus, of which that sweet lady paid for me, and there was a man watching me, looking at me, not in a bad way, but curious, who is that lady who is there so lost? And that's what happens a lot with me in the world. People are confused by me, but it is because, I come from so many inner worlds, so I understand that it's energetically confusing people. And it's nice to talk about that sometimes as well, because I don't talk about that a lot, that I come across these things. So, and then I finally was in the central hall, and luckily I had e-ticket paid for my train. So, and I was there with my little suitcase, which it was actually too heavy because I put in too many stuff, which I just want to have at home, like my devices and so on. So, and then I finally got home, and it was exhausting. But that sweet angel, I will honor her, and I wanted to pay her back, but yeah. So that is one example. But then these fears, I have to work that out, of course, because if I let the fears be the fears, then they increase, and then again I have to work harder to integrate that part in me of these fears. So I worked on that, and another thing, what is for me what I'm trying to figure out is that I seem to hesitate to mention his name. So, and then I will mention his name, Donald Trump, the President of the United States. I already in earlier live streams mentioned that I know him. I know him from the past. I know him. And you can believe me or not, I know him. And I went through a whole inner process because I was confronted when he was for the second time president. And there is also a live stream which is still up on my channels, that I talk about my confusion because that I saw him joking with Mr. Obama, which I had a certain history as well with him, and I couldn't figure it out. Like, how could you be in a place where all these people were who also used or worse, and many of them I recognized. So, and I'm careful in mentioning names, and I was confused. But what I did always felt, specifically of late in also in this transition months of this year, that I started to feel like in the energy, but I do see God in him, or whatever you could call it. It is a certain reality of a real person, real feeling. And I could connect that with my meetings with him. And that I realized I have to figure out something in this, because first of all, in the live streams, I never dared to talk about it, that I felt a certain sincerity in him. And because I knew him, I felt also confused, because I felt like, okay, I come from MKultra. How are my feelings? Are my feelings real? Are my feelings, can I really watch and observe? Because I try always to be the observer. This is also, by the way, why I could manage that whole ride in the bus last Monday in the fears. I know my way to stay in the observer way. And I was also confused because I knew him from the past. And at the same time, he is moving in these worlds of MKultra and with people I also knew who abused me and used me and trafficked me everywhere and worse. And I have, again, please, if you want to watch all my previous live streams, if you want to binge watch all my live streams from 2022 to 2024, it's on my Odyssey. It's a whole playlist. I put everything on one playlist and it's on the link. I think you should see it as well on Twitch, YouTube, and on Facebook as well. That I have there all my live streams publicly for you to watch. So, and to come back to Monday, when I was sitting in the train, of course, I was so happy, I was so relieved that I had an e-ticket, because with the e-ticket, that was already paid. And I also, because I got an extra deal, they call it a deal in the Netherlands, if you pay ahead, then you get a certain percentage off, which I did. And then I got also an offer to take the first class. Well, I thought, yeah, first class. I love first class. Yeah, it's because I knew there was a bit more traffic on Monday, and it was awesome to sit in first class. And so I treated myself with first class, and then I was relaxing a bit, like, oh. And I wanted to read. and then I realized, and it was a book of Donald Trump. And I am reading a lot about him. I also have a book about Eric Trump. I'm reading that now as well. And I was realizing, like, I didn't dare to open the book in the train. And then I realized I had that earlier when I was in the train a few weeks ago. What's going on? Why should I be ashamed of just investigating a man who I knew? What's wrong with that? And then I realized, yeah, but how do people view each other and other, from other countries, and what is being portrayed of someone else? And then I realized it is a real journey on its own to figure out for myself how and where I stand. But and meanwhile, I have my memories, certain memories with him, of which let's say that he helped me in certain situations. And then I am really trying to give it words, because I felt a lot of fear, speaking of fears, of speaking out about why should I be fearful of speaking out that I see God in and through him. And I don't approve all the decisions he makes, and this is what I also wanted to highlight for this live stream, because it's specifically because I went, before I went live an hour ago, before I went live, I mean that's already an hour ago, but let's say an hour before I went live, that I realized that was part of my stress, because I'm a former MKultra. I should be, if there should be one who would be totally against, I mean, what is being portrayed and so on, and what's happening in the elite world with my experience. That why do I see that in him? Why do I feel that in him, in Donald Trump? And you know me, for the people who know me for live stream for years, I am real. What I say is what I truly feel, and I investigate. I want to investigate everything. Like next to reading about Trump, I have the book. I have a book here to prove that I have the book. And meanwhile, I'm also very interested in China, so I'm learning Chinese with a very great audiobook. And why am I learning Chinese? Because I always talked in live streams. China was meant as an example for how the rest of the world should be. So in a totalitarian communistic land, country, and then that there would be no faith, no religions, nothing, so that people would no longer rely on faith. I love the word faith, by the way, and faith in something good, and to trust in something good, and because I truly feel that, because I believe in God, in the Creator, and my big example is Jesus, that it is, for me, was a lifesaver also in my MKultra, and because I have seen angels, still do. That's for me. Just for me, I don't need proof that there is a bigger God, or a God existing in angels. For me, that's no doubt. And still, I felt, even after all these years of live streaming, still that I felt and feel fears of being judged. But I found out something, that the basic fear is, oh, now I speak out, oh, now they come and get me. Now they come and torture me. Now they come and throw me back in the programming, or they pull me off the streets. And so it is a very challenging, but I also am excited about it because I feel so passionate for freedom of the world. And to come back to a world leader's position, I talked with world leaders. I was with world leaders. Next to that, I was abused by many. I also had many talks with them. And they had personalities and front personalities. And some of them, I'm sure that they did not even know they were MKultra. And this is why I all the time go back in that I hardly ever want to mention names. Because every person is unique. Every person is unique also in deprogramming. You can see all these, let's take an example, world leaders or artists, famous artists, and that's an image. But what is that image? What is the person really from within? Who is that person? Everyone is unique. Everyone is an individual, and I try to approach everyone as unique. And what I feel is what I feel, and I feel a real person in Donald. I feel God, a presence of God in him, and not to put him on a pedestal, not at all. That's also very clear. I am my own person, and I have my own values, and I am so passionate to do something with what I experienced and where I deprogrammed for all these years, and where I was so dedicated to be totally alone until this very moment. Besides then that I'm living here with my dear friend here, who I have no words for how much I love her, for what we both do for the mission, for freedom of this world and for all beings. So, and it is more that I want to express, because I noticed that in the Netherlands there is an opinion about this president in the US, which is created by the media. But again, who is a person really? And I do this in the hopes that it would awake the heart chakra, the feeling, and make contact with feeling. This is why I always did this mission. Next to that, I feel so passionate about doing something with what I experienced, and in the hopes to, I feel that I was born for something, and I know that, and I feel that, and I know that I'm on the verge of that it will materialize. Maybe it's already happening, and I hope that people who watch my live stream can feel what I mean. That it's not about defending a person like Donald Trump or even other elite persons who I feel have changed and are no longer in the hands of the deep state. And then that I do see them move in these circles, but I know, because I was there, how difficult it is to step out of circles like that. And maybe these persons who are, I feel, more deprogramming and more coming to their real person, who they are from within, so with feeling and opening up, that they have a purpose by being there, and maybe even are very consciousness in these circles in hopes to create a positive influence and to deprogram the others in these circles. That's what I truly feel. And there is still a lot of evil to deal with and darkness. And for example, like also here, what I just heard that there was again a farmers' protest happening in the Netherlands. And the farmers here are such a distress because they are more and more being driven into a corner with all the rules. And yeah, there needs to be a kind of saying no to borders, to our own inner borders, and also in this way to protect identity of countries. This is what I always felt, but it is so incredible beautiful to be in another country, in another culture. I was talking, that happened now in India, but I was in India. I met there because that's also the thing what I'm very investigating, also innerly, but also researching, reading about. Listening to a lot of podcasts. I reached out to someone who I invited as a guest to talk about his own knowledge and proof and presentation of the Quran. Let's say it openly, and he explains it all with research and proof. And I want to learn, and this is what I hope to create. This is what my passion is about, like a true, real society where we can live as unique countries with our own identity and values. And if that's being threatened, and then I come back to again, it is weird that I feel fierce to read a book about Donald Trump in the train. Isn't that weird? And I feel weird about it. And I know I come from fears, but I wonder if someone else recognizes this or in another way. That I feel in the Netherlands, I feel that I withhold myself more in expressing in my outside world because I'm afraid I will be judged. And that's not a healthy sign for a country where I live, where I knew years of more freedom of speech. And that's just what I wanted to express. And besides that, and since I started to investigate, because I really need to express this, and I truly love everyone who follows me, who watches me, also from the people from the Islam or from whatever religion or whatever side you are watching. I hope you can feel and listen with your heart that I mean well and that I'm non-judgmental and that I'm not against religions or faiths or non-faiths or whatever. It is about that there's also proof about being confronted with the violence of women, for what women had to undergo and still are undergoing, and the oppression. And I want this country to stay the country it is, like a welcoming to everyone, but with borders, and saying no to evil, to the abusers, to the people who want evil and power greed, and can we please go back to living a society and with beautiful cultures. I love all these cultures, because to come back to when I was in India, I was there. That's amazing to me. It's a giant country, and religions live together there, like Muslims, Buddhists, Hinduism, Christianity. I walked there also into a church where I felt very lonely, and I think I already told this story, but that I was walking in India in a big Pondicherry, and And I was so alone. I felt so alone, and it is an incredible culture shock when coming to India as a woman alone. And then I heard singing and a church organ, and there was a church in the middle of Pondicherry, and there was a little choir of Indian people were singing their hymns, and I was touched, and I walked inside the church, and I was a bit shy, and then these people waved at me very kindly, like, come in, you're welcome. And then I was sitting there at the back in the benches, listening to that choir music, and that helped me heal. I felt a bit less lonely, but these religions live together in the giant country. But I honored the rules, so I covered my shoulders. I did certain. But that felt good because I have respect for the country and the religions there. So, and I really speak from the heart. I really, truly hope that we as people of the world can have our own religions, but then in a new way. Why is it not possible to do just like with all the Islamic people? Because I know them in person, literally, still in this life. Just change. We can change, it's that really is what I'm trying to figure out in all the reading and doing research and feeling with my heart and soul. And I listen to the stories of the women who were suppressed. I come from my own suppression, of course, in the past, but this is so. My heart cried for these women, and so there has to be a new way of living together. That's what I actually wanted to say, and also to express that these fears of me going live tonight, that I was afraid of if I would say that I feel good intentions from Donald Trump, that people would drop, would judge me, or would, which is of course your own choice. I mean, I understand. But yeah, that's a bit what I wanted to talk about tonight. I am already feeling tired of it and also a bit emotional, because that's truly what's on my heart and soul, that I'm trying to figure it out, because I truly feel that in all that evil and all, but that there is a lot changed as well in what I feel as timelines, and that the most negative timeline is not actual any longer, and that by creating a new world, that we have to be open about. I think that's just my feeling, that's what I want to figure out, that I feel I need to trust again in a certain leadership who shows borders, like maybe it's a kind of father-like, no, not father, more like man, that the male opposite, that it's has become too female in the world with all the communism tendencies and the too much left side, left-winged governments and so on. And what I also feel is, because I meet these people who are extreme left, they're very kind, sweet people. They mean well. They want to welcome everyone. So it is so complex, and I hoped by this live stream to open up some discussion, I love to hear your thoughts on it, and I want to continue in coming live streams about the subject. And again, I hope I have 2 people in mind, but I already mailed one person I would love to have in one of my live streams. And to that by knowledge, like knowledge is also power, next to feeling from the heart, and that balance should be always there. And that is, I think, the strength to get to that new earth together as people. But I feel stronger than ever that passion for the identity of the Netherlands should be the Netherlands. And the identity of Belgium should be Belgium. The identity of France should be France. I love it so much, that you come in another country, another culture, it's fresh, learning from each other, and this is where my heart lies now, and I'm still figuring things out, also about many of for example, the pop artists, other, what you call elite. I hate the word elite, but it's a word. How far to come back to the presidents, how far, I really am curious, how far do you think or feel which of the world leaders is aware of deep state, wants to turn the world into a good, prosperous world, specifically peaceful world? I really am curious your thoughts on it, and of course, I hoped more people would be in the chat to talk with me, but I understand. I'm going live, not so frequent any longer. So I understand, and it's also a hard subject maybe. For me, it was really quite a thing to openly, publicly express. And yes, I have an account on Truth Social, and not that I'm a fan, because that's different. I have my own opinion, I have my own feelings, and I'm not blindsided, I am still investigating, and it's a whole new journey. I am walking in my new self, with my core now in me, and integrating. I'm now really integrating. So that's awesome. But that also confronts me with that I have to express more what I feel, what is in my heart, and all the changes. And so, yeah. Hi, Elizabeth Ioni Horse. I think Trump has been taken over by his insider past, and like many others now is rotting in his own corruption. By his insider past. What do you mean with insider past? I try to understand you, so if you can more explain. But thanks for responding. I honor all opinions. By his insider past. You mean that he is now changed, or? But thanks for sharing. And I know I also, of course, challenge myself in dealing with that. I am figuring it still out. I'm still figuring things out. I'm learning every day. So, and it's mainly what I wanted to talk about. Because it's also important for my integration process that I speak out what is now in my heart, and I'm still trying to figure out how I eventually will end up in feeling according to the whole what's going on. So yeah, it's a bit of serious serious change, but Ian Horse says, I believe Trump had an elite upbringing as seen by his Apollonian 66th floor apartment in Trump Towers. Yeah, I was there, so an elite upbringing. Oh, I'm sure of that. And I'm also no doubt in that he knows very well how the deep state works and everyone. And I cannot go into details about that, but I'm sure, I don't doubt that. But I believe in people can change, and that is how I stand now. And I don't condone any violence, and this is what I am still figuring out with myself. So, but thanks for sharing. And all right, it's 10:30, and I think I have mentioned what I wanted to mention. And yeah, I might go live next Thursday. I have to see how it fits with my cat and dog sitting and letting out dogs, which I still enjoy very much, by the way. It's my way. Actually, it's perfect for me because I can then, while walking the dog, enjoy the environment and then figure things out. And that's also an advantage of being alone a lot of times, that I'm figuring out things from my innerly person. So, all right, dear people, I love in the comments also if you rewatch this later on, your thoughts on it. At least I feel that it's never wrong to investigate, keep investigating and reading knowledge, finding out things, learning. And I love you all. It was awesome to go live again. It ended up a bit serious, a bit more serious than I used to be. But I honestly feel also worried about how the world is going, and at the same time I stay in the trust that these timelines, the most negative timeline has changed into a more negative outcome for the world and the people. Ione Horse, loneliness is a survivor thing, especially if you're not allowed to have successful relationships. Okay, thanks for sharing. And it was, of course, put in my programming as well, loneliness, and that I would always stay and be alone. I went through that. I went through the whole thing. So, Delvertje says, sing more, worry less. Oh, that's a good one, Delvertje. Yeah. Well, I do sing. In the place where I was, there was a great acoustics in the house, and I had a giant place for myself. It was awesome, and lots of nature, but it had a great acoustic because it was a high ceiling, so that was awesome. But yeah, singing is healing. You're absolutely right there, Delvertje. All right, dear people, thank you for watching. Thanks for being here. And I'm tired, I'm fulfilled. And maybe see you in the next live stream. And bless you all. And thinking of you all, hope you all are doing well. And see you next time. All right. Bye bye, everyone.